Arrington-Bey is May the 14th, 2019. It's about 5:35 a.m. As I was breathing this morning, I was meditating. Once again, at American Independence Day, someone kept saying stop. So I said I was going to start documenting this. So if I could breathe like 636. And remember, I saw the United States military in room 118. I don't know if it was the Navy or the Army, because these are tactics that correlates to an extreme behavior, and in reference to the mind. And I'm not accusing, but we know that the United States Navy and the Army has a history of not using their authority in a lawful manner. That's why President Abraham Lincoln put a check on them, because he knew that they had been abusive in their authority to and privilege to have the ability to kill, because they're trained to kill, and other war tactics. So as I was breathing and I was going 636 in one nostril out the other, someone would say stop. And this correlate, and I wasn't sitting right, so I had to take a breath. Now remember, we're among unclean spirits, and this is a spiritual warfare that we are among first. So my thoughts were, when I go back to the time when I would walk past room 118 and see, and the person kept jiggling the doorknob as I walked by. This was early in the morning. I was getting coffee, and I had to take a couple of trips because I couldn't carry all the coffee, because I didn't want. Usually I would drink like they have small cups. Not the. I think that day they had really small cups, and I needed more than one cup. And someone kept jiggling the doorknob next in room 118, which is next to room 116, each time I walk by. The last time I decided to walk by, remember we among a telepathic community, the person opened the door, and it was a United States military man in full uniform. I was so surprised because I would hear mumbling and noise coming from that room. And many people that come and sit at Burger King for hours either imply to be connected to the Navy and the Army, or have been in the Navy and the Army, or are in the Navy and the Army. So, and they have, a few of them have demonstrated odd behavior that doesn't correlate to the teachings of why we're supposed to respect the Navy, the Army, the military. Because we as Moorish Americans, through divine teachers, we are encouraged to, because they're supposed to be protectors. As we keep uplifting the Constitution of 1787, Abraham Lincoln's proclamations, these divine laws of freedom, Abraham Lincoln's 13th Amendment with 20 sections. So when I see those that have been trained, especially when they're going overseas, to behave in an odd manner, been trained to kill, it's really surprising. But once again, if you being controlled by a foreign jurisdiction, and you are not in the constitutional fold, then that makes sense. So you are a foreign jurisdiction slave. You don't have no power. So something foreign is controlling possibly the Navy and the Army and these military branches that are not in the constitutional fold. They have no power. They are a foreign slave. And so that's hence connected to the United States corporation. So there you go, and then I think about the executive branch, which is supposed to be the commander-in-chief over them. If he has not taken an oath of embassy and reconstruction to uphold the Constitution, these divine laws of freedom, then he too is being controlled. And he really, truly don't have any power. And he too is a foreign slave. That's the importance of getting back into the constitutional fold and upholding these divine laws of freedom that the forefathers fought for. I used to hear people speak of how the military treated soldiers like slaves. Many times when I was growing up as a child, and you don't know until you see it yourself. And you don't understand the political and the lawful reason why they say that. But then when you start to learn different aspects of law and the importance of the Constitution and having rights and privileges, then you see. And this is connecting also to breeding unclean spirits. Breeding them, creating experiments to be soldiers, and breeding them with soulful Moors. Sometimes I feel sharp pains as I am exercising. The United States rate 35 in health, 35. So like I said, I see United States Navy and Army exercising or jogging sometimes, or those that look to be students of the academy. But in Annapolis, just in Annapolis, I can't tell you how many overweight, obese people I see is a lot. In my eyesight, it's a lot. And this is just in a small place, Annapolis, but the United States rate 35 in health. Physical health is connected to mental health. So it's almost like it's a privilege to be healthy, a privilege. Because if your mind is being tampered with and you feel stress, sometimes people are not able to cope with it. So they might turn to addictions such as food, cigarettes, alcohol, drugs. And what does this do? It makes them become vulnerable to unclean spirits, and they are less likely to fight back or try to reclaim rights and be a true lawful citizen in this country, and not be a part of that jurisdiction, that corporation. So they'll be used, if they don't have rights, as slaves, chattel property. So something other countries are doing that puts them in the first 10 that the United States corporation is not doing. So what is that? Well, we know black is not a nationality, African American is not a nationality. So those that say that they are these things are not in the constitutional fold. Pale skin and white American is not a nationality. So those who claim these terms are not in the constitutional fold. And so those rights, they don't have rights. They have privileges, which puts them in a jurisdiction as being used as chattel property, slaves. So it's interesting to know that they have the science of telepathy and they're able to sense sharp pains. So if you are vulnerable, if you yourself don't have rights, you have an addiction, you have a family, you may be on drugs or you're overweight, whatever it may be, and you need money. And you know if you send sharp pains to those who don't know, causing dis-ease, can help you. Because you have the science of telepathy, because you can either help you get a job, you'll get money somehow, some type of payment. What will stop them from doing it? Or maybe they might be abused themselves if they don't do it. Most of the people I have experienced that imply to send sharp pains are the pale skin, those that consider themselves white American, but that is not a true term for them. The black Negro, African American, and then those that speak Spanish, whether they're from Mexico or other parts of South America. But definitely those are the three major groups that imply to send sharp pains, whether it's to the head or other parts of the body. And I'm giving testimony according to Revelation chapter 12, verse 11 and 12 of the Holy Bible. The Bible was made public law in this country. I think it was October the 4th, 1982. And that is in correlation to a jurisdiction that's dealing with law, rights, law, freedom, not the jurisdiction of the United States corporation. So it would be difficult to use the Holy Bible in law if you are in the jurisdiction in reference to the United States corporation, because they do not respect law. They are operating under privileges and being used by a foreign jurisdiction. And they are under a foreign jurisdiction. I just felt a sharp pain in my left foot, and I'm hearing the same mumbling voice outside and around the room, outside and around the workout room in American Extended Stay. Especially when I start to speak of the United States Navy and Army, there's a lot of bumping above start to happen. That are being controlled by the United States corporation. Which is under a foreign jurisdiction. feel pressure while running, especially when the pale skin is around, like some on my joints. And the black and Negro male might try, like if I'm out, same thing. As I yell 3, and that black Negro male start trying to smile on my face like a slave, like a breeding dog. It's a shame. It's really, I can't explain the way about Arrington-Bey, how nasty and filthy the behavior is. I've noticed up here. I mean, they have suit and tie on, and as they walk by, my genitals are attacked, the black Negro males, in a spiritual manner, sexually. Or they wait and stand with the pale skin as they yell 3, or someone, or in that spirit of 3, in a negative manner, because we know in higher thoughts, 3 is a divine number. But everything that's unclean, use that which is divine and clean in a negative manner to promote bondage. And so they behave just as they are bred to do, like an animal. It is truly a savage experience, but I have learned to grow from it. Because they are truly filthy. And they're Spanish brothers as well, and unclean spirits in spirit. But that's in that jurisdiction, that corporation. And they've been doing it for a while. So I think about the foreigners. When they come over here and they make their money, especially if they are part of those 10 countries that are considered the most healthy, they come over here, make a little bit of money, and go back. So in that, they're not, even when they're over here, they're not in that jurisdiction. They're in a different jurisdiction. Physically, they are over here, but also physically in law, they are not in that jurisdiction. They're a different jurisdiction. They have a nationality, a culture. They make their money and go back. And while they're here, see what's going on for themselves. They see how the black Negro behave and how they're used. They see how other unclean spirits behave and are used. So imagine when they go over there, the black Negro and other unclean spirits, whether they're Spanish speaking, Mexico, whatever, or pale skin, without some form of protection. And they don't have a nationality. What you need? Oh, huh? I have a key. All right, I love you. That was Imani. Imani, great hiking. black Negro is attacking my visual side.